Hi everyone, my name is Victoria MacPhail and I'm co-chair of Pollination Guelph. In this video, I'm going to give a presentation that I had planned on giving at our annual symposium, which is updates from our work last year, 2019, and our plans for 2020. So yes, unfortunately, we had to cancel our symposium at the last minute due to COVID-19. We still haven't quite figured out what our plans are going to be. We're looking at possibly rescheduling to the fall, or what's looking increasingly more likely, we'll do a series of webinars, perhaps once a week in the fall. I want to send a big thank you out to all of our sponsors, as well as all of our speakers, and of course our attendees for their understanding due to the uncertainties and with the cancellation. One exciting piece of news we wanted to share was that this year was our first ever and hopefully first annual call for proposals for a community grant proposal program. So this idea was to get groups throughout Guelph and Wellington County to give them a bit of extra funding to help them do their projects, whether that was creating more habitat, creating educational materials, running their own programs, outreach events. We wanted to give them a bit of a helping hand to do these work. So we put out a call for proposals early in the year, and the actual application process is already closed. That was due the end of March. But stay tuned to our website for information about our 2021 campaign. This year, unfortunately, again, we can't have an in-person plant sale as we usually do in May, but we're actually going to have an online native plant sale instead. Nature Guelph is the host of this plant sale with help from Pollination Guelph and the Guelph Enabling Gardens. And we're going to donate native plants from our gardens and our demonstration plantings so that people from the public can purchase these plants online at pretty relatively inexpensive prices to add to their own garden. So follow us on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to find out more about when this plant sale is. It'll be early June. Did you know we actually have 8 different pollinator habitat sites here in Guelph, from the north end of the city through the south end of the city, east through west. And these range from 3 formal-looking gardens that you may be more used to seeing in residential areas through to large-scale naturalization projects and more meadow or prairie-like. Most of these sites are publicly accessible, so you can go walk through them at any time. And we encourage you to take photos when you do so, particularly of anything with insects or visiting birds or other critters. And we'll talk about that later on in my presentation, but you submit them to iNaturalist, and we can actually get a lot of information from that to sort of monitor the status of our plantings. We're always looking for more volunteers to help us with our plantings, and particularly maintaining the plantings. It's pretty easy to get volunteers out to do a big planting event. We also need people to maintain the gardens, to make sure they don't get overrun with weeds and ensure the plants are doing well. We're also interested in having researchers, whether they bring students or professors or people with ENGOs, come out to our garden areas to do research, whether looking at what plants work best in different sites, looking at what pollinators are coming, looking at soil conditions, microclimatic effects. The sky's the limit. So please contact us if you're interested. And so now the next few slides, I'll give you some presentations, some photos to show you what the gardens looked like last year and a bit about our plans for this year. So the Eastview Pollinator Park was our first big planting. And this is our big meadow or naturalization project in our northeast part of Guelph. In terms of an update, we're still struggling with this site. The fescue grasses, as you can sort of see in this top corner, are really taking over the site again. So this is what was used to stabilize the soil cap when the landfill was closed. And they're doing their job. They're very dense. They're really, binding to the soil well, but it's really choking out our native plants. And although we were able to get rid of it in our planting areas, it's now coming back in. And as you can see in this photo, it's really choking out the native plants that even try to get through. So we're going to keep trying a few different things. Our plan this year is to do some more mowing. So last fall we did a little strip of mowing just inside the fence, close to the fence along the sort of ring road. We want to see if that makes a difference this year in terms of the native plants coming up through the grasses. We're also planning on putting a little demonstration garden just inside the fence area that you can see as you're walking through. And we want to do a big shout out to the city of Guelph for the really increased support. They've always been very supportive of our work, but this year and the last year, they've really been putting a push on to say, hey, how can we help you with this site? So even this bottom photo, I should say, are various representatives from the city who are out helping us and are talking about possibilities for the site last fall. And here's some photos from last year up on the landfill site. So yes, there are quite a few wildflowers there, just sometimes very patchy. And again, we're concerned with those fescue grasses coming in. Also at the Eastview Community Park, but on the outside of the fence where the public can actually access this, is the Remediate Project. And this is our wildflower seed quilt art installation, where Christina Kingsbury, a local artist, has been out making basically homemade paper, but putting wildflower seeds in it and laying those out on the soil and then planting into that as well. She had several events in 2019, and the plants are generally doing well, although again, we are struggling quite a bit with what we call seed rain, or unwanted seeds coming in from the surrounding areas, blowing in on the wind, and also those grasses coming in again. And even the plants themselves, some of them doing quite well, and so they're now spreading throughout the garden. So the idea this year is probably just to do it more maintenance on the site and just keep things the same. Here's some more photos from last year. You see in the bottom corner here that there are that seed paper quilt decomposes pretty quickly, and then very soon after you don't see much of that quilt, and you keep the wildflowers coming up through it. And there's blooms there from spring through to fall. So anytime you're up at the landfill site, do a walk through it, and yet you can walk in through the plantings along the little paths and just see what you can see. Riverside Park East, and behind the fire hall, was actually one of our first more demonstration style plantings. This is again a very high very high visibility site because it's right alongside the trails for the park. And basically right now we're just doing ongoing maintenance. With 2020, we're not quite sure how the maintenance is going to work, especially because the city of Guelph has been the one doing most of the maintenance on this site in the past, but still check it out anytime you're walking through the park. TransCanada Trail is on the other side of Speedville from the first plantings at Riverside Park. We have two different gardens there. And again, we're not quite sure what maintenance is happening this year because it was sort of a city-dominated project in partnership with us, but also a very high visibility site. Again, this is part of the trail system that goes across Canada and also goes to downtown Guelph. The Food Forest is a project that we're partnering with various community groups with, and the Guelph Community Food Forest are the main organization. It was really good last year, in the last few years, but having public events. Indeed, one event I loved because they advertised getting free ice cream if you come out to the event. It's one thing to try to consider how you can get people out to your events. We have some beautiful signs up at the site. I love this sign here we have in the bottom corner that shows what a food forest is, some of the different plants you might find there, some different animals that might come, as well as the benefits. So benefits to soil, to water, to wildlife. And again, this year's more ongoing maintenance of the site. And again, more photos from that area. The Gosling pollinator gardens from Hospice Wellington are kind of a really big showcase. They're looking really beautiful. We've been working on this in phases for a number of years, and actually we're at the stage now we can harvest from that site to give to other plantings, both our own plantings and with other pollinator gardens in the city, such as Epignaceous. We were on the Art Gallery of Guelph Gardenscapes tour this past year, and we're always looking for volunteers to come out to help maintain this garden in particular. So if you're interested, email us at pollinationguelph@gmail.com. And here's some of our sampling of the photos at the site. Again, beautiful flowers from spring through to fall. This is on the corner of Courtright and Scottsdale. So very high visibility. As you're driving by or walking by, you can take a peek. And again, the wildlife we're getting there, birds, butterflies, bees, I'm sure there's probably been hummingbirds, lots of different beautiful flowers, as well as grasses, because we often focus on the showy flowers or pollinators. Many of them need host plants, such as grasses, for the butterflies and moths to feed on. And also, for example, like the big blue stem, little blue stem, make nice bunches of sort of tussock-feed grass at the very base, which things like bumblebees might nest in. The Clare Road Emergency Services Center is a very far south of Guelph site on Clare Road, just west of Gordon. And this is a site that's also a challenge. We have a lot of problem with historic salt usage. So you always see along the strip of the road and to the Clare Road Emergency Services Center itself, plants don't do quite as well close to the road due to all the salt. We also have issues with, you can see this crown vetch. Although it is very pollinator friendly, it is very invasive, and it's also trying to choke out some of our plantings. So that vetch and other weeds are a bit of a challenge, as well as seed rain coming in from the surrounding areas. But it's still beautiful, still creating habitat, and we're still working on this site. And again, here's some photos from last year. Again, different types of bees, butterflies and birds and flies and beetles. Guelph Hydra was another site we have. We haven't been doing as much work at this site recently. It's basically just ongoing maintenance. And this is in this traffic island, or sort of this little swale at the parking lot of Guelph Hydro, or now Elektra. And again, more photos from last year. This used to be all turf and this initial sort of swale, and we've actually been creating a habitat in there to make it more beautiful, more pollinator friendly. So in addition to our planting events, we also do a lot of outreach work. So in 2019, we had events throughout the province we had to even had BioBlitzes where we had volunteers out looking for different pollinators. So we had BioBlitzes at the new rare Aramosa site and at the Yorkland site. We had a youth STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math camp that we participated in, and had a University of Guelph class out to do some monitoring at the landfill site. We did a number of presentations, went to both different meetings and different advocacy type efforts, so emailing individuals, such as our politicians, to push for more pollinator habitat and more pollinator friendly legislation. For 2020, we're going to keep doing a lot of the same. In-person events, as you all know, are a bit up in the air, but instead we're going to try to do some YouTube videos. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's under Pollination Guelph. We'll be having videos on everything from how to create pollinator habitat to ways to increase outreach yourself. We're also going to try to just do more posts in general on social media. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram, which is at Pollinate Guelph, and Facebook's at Pollination Guelph. So just note the slightly different wording there, Pollinate Guelph or Pollination Guelph, depending on the channel. For 2020, we're also trying to increase the outreach work we're doing in terms of research. We're not quite sure, again, how it's working with COVID-19. We had hoped to get volunteers out to do some big sort of BioBlitzes. It may just be a case of a few individuals coming out. We're hoping to do more surveys just to see what's happening at our planting projects. But one neat thing that everyone can participate in, even if you have no background whatsoever in insect identification or surveys, is through iNaturalist. So iNaturalist is a citizen science or community science type project where anyone can participate. All you do is take a photo, submit it through the app or through the website, and voila, that's it. It'll pull the actual location from your photo. If you have, for instance, a smartphone with GPS enabled. And the program will actually automatically put it into what we call projects. So we have these projects set up that captures all the different observations for certain taxa for all of our different planting projects plus citywide. So you don't have to do anything yourself, just submit it to the absolute main level of iNaturalist and automatically put it into our project. So we can see what other people are finding throughout the city. We're hoping to do a sort of how-to video on that for our YouTube channel this summer as well, so stay tuned for that. But basically, anytime you're out near our planting sites or even in Guelph itself in your backyard, snap a picture, submit it to the website or through the app. Another great way that you can help educate yourself and help other people is through these cues for care or habitat signs. So we have these sort of coroplast or olive panel signs, which you can put in your front yard, put on your boulevard to say, hey, this is pollinator habitat. And it really makes a difference. Actually, one of our board members made a comment on, she's had a pollinator-friendly garden for a number of years. She put her sign out and almost immediately heard people saying, oh, a pollinator garden, oh, that's kind of cool. So it just kind of gives you that little extra push. And people can stop and read, even if it's early in the morning or late in the evening, and on their own pace, read the signs like, oh, pollinator habitat, oh, that needs food, protection, and shelter or nesting sites. So it's kind of an education in an informal way. Another way to help educate yourself and others is to pick up on some of our books that we are selling. For example, Bees and Identification and Plant Forage Guide, or a Pollinator's Native Plant Book, or a Handbook to the Declining Bumblebees of Southern Ontario. So we are selling these through our website now for predominantly in Guelph contactless pickup. Although if you really want it to be mailed to you, we can look into the cost for shipping for that. But check out our website for more information on these sales. Also on our website is the opportunity to give us a donation. So we are a completely volunteer-run charitable organization, which means we do not get government funding, we do not have any paid staff, we are all volunteers. So we rely on donations for everything from plants for our demonstration gardens, to things like insurance for our board and for our events, for our website, and for things like outreach activities. So you can donate online through Canada Helps, which is a secure organization. You donate by mail or in person. We also accept e-transfers now, but I need to specify that be a charitable donation, data receipt. We're still looking for volunteers, as I mentioned, for everything from maintenance of the gardens to help with our outreach events, or social media, to help with posts. Even if you do a post a week or a month, that would really be helpful for us. Again, we'll help train you and help you if you are interested. So just get in touch with us. We're also looking to update our outreach materials, have more people join our board of directors. So yes, contact us by email, pollinationguelph@gmail.com for more information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Again, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, through our website, or by email. So we hope this was interesting to you, and stay tuned for more presentations on YouTube. Thank you very much.